Most people lose power without ever realizing they had it. They sabotage their own reputation. They weaken their influence. They hand control to strangers simply by how they behave in public. Today, we solve one brutal problem: how to stop unconsciously destroying your authority every time you step into the public eye. 500 years ago, Niccolò Machiavelli observed something chilling. Men are not defeated by enemies alone. They are undone by their own visible weaknesses. This is not about manners. This is about power. Listen carefully. I speak to you not as a moralist, but as a strategist. In courts of Florence, in chambers of rulers, in the silent calculations of princes, one truth remained constant. The public arena is war disguised as civility. Every glance is measured, every word is weighed, every reaction is recorded. You may believe you are simply living your life, but others are deciding what you are worth. And so today, I will reveal the 9 things you must never do in public if you wish to command respect instead of invite quiet conquest. I never display uncontrolled anger. Listen carefully. Anger, when displayed in public, is a confession. It confesses that you have been touched, that you have been provoked, that someone, somewhere, has found the lever that moves you. In the observations of Niccolò Machiavelli, power belongs to the one who controls perception, and nothing destroys perception faster than visible loss of control. When you erupt in anger before others, you believe you are asserting dominance. In truth, you are surrendering intelligence. The crowd does not see strength, they see instability. They do not think he is powerful. They think he can be manipulated. Anger exposes your boundaries. It teaches your opponents exactly what to say next time. It shows them the precise insult, the precise accusation, the precise pressure point that will shake you again. And once they know your triggers, they own a piece of your behavior. The dangerous individual is not the one who shouts. It is the one who remains still while others burn. A composed face during provocation creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates fear, and fear creates influence. This does not mean you must become passive. Quite the opposite. Feel anger, study it, but do not perform it. If action is required, let it be deliberate and cold. Let consequences arrive quietly without spectacle. Let others wonder when, or if you will respond. Public anger is a gift to your enemies. Silence, however, is a weapon they cannot predict. And unpredictability is far more terrifying than noise. Romans 2. Never over-explain yourself. There is a subtle weakness most people display without awareness. They explain, they clarify, they justify. They rush to ensure everyone understands their intentions. But understand this: the moment you begin over-explaining yourself in public, you shift the balance of power. In the strategic mind of Niccolò Machiavelli, authority is not proven through excessive words. It is demonstrated through composure. When you feel compelled to defend every decision, every statement, every action, you silently announce doubt. And doubt lowers status. The crowd does not analyze your logic as carefully as you imagine. They analyze your emotional state. If you speak rapidly, add unnecessary details, or attempt to cover every possible misunderstanding, you reveal anxiety beneath your reasoning. And anxiety invites scrutiny. The powerful speak with precision. They state what is necessary, no more, no less. They are comfortable with silence after they speak. They allow others to sit with uncertainty. Over-explanation, however, tries to control how others think. Ironically, it achieves the opposite. It signals that you fear misinterpretation, and when you fear misinterpretation, you give others permission to question you further. The less secure a person feels, the more they talk. The more secure a person feels, the more they select. Remember this principle. If your position is strong, it does not require excessive defense. Say your piece once, calmly, directly, without emotional leakage, then stop. Silence forces others to process your words on your terms, and the one who controls the pause controls the room. Romans 3. Never reveal your full ambition. Ambition is fire. Handled carefully, it forges empires. Exposed recklessly, it attracts storms. In the calculated philosophy of Niccolò Machiavelli, the ambitious man who declares his full intentions too early becomes a threat before he becomes powerful. And threats awaken resistance. Understand the psychology of the crowd. People tolerate progress, but they resist domination. The moment you publicly reveal how far you intend to rise, you disturb the comfort of those above you and alarm those beside you. Ambition, when loudly announced, creates two reactions: envy from peers, defensive caution from superiors. Both are obstacles. The wise strategist conceals the final destination. He speaks of contribution, growth, collaboration, while privately calculating ascent. He advances step by step, allowing others to underestimate the scope of his vision. If people see the throne in your eyes too soon, they begin building walls. History teaches this lesson repeatedly. Many who fell in political courts did not fail because they lacked intelligence, but because they revealed desire without first securing power. Subtlety is survival. Let your actions suggest competence, not conquest. Let your results accumulate quietly. Let your ambition appear smaller than it truly is. When success arrives, let it seem inevitable rather than aggressive. Power gained unexpectedly is difficult to resist, but power openly chased invites coalitions against you. Ambition must move like a shadow present, but not announced. Reveal only what serves you in the moment. And keep the greater vision hidden until it is already reality. Romans 4. Never mock or humiliate others. Humiliation is a short-term victory with long-term consequences. In public, when you mock someone, belittle them, or expose their weakness for entertainment or dominance, you may win laughter. You may even win applause, but you also create something far more dangerous, a silent enemy. In the strategic understanding of Niccolò Machiavelli, men forgive many injuries except public shame. An insult delivered privately may fade. An insult delivered before witnesses becomes a wound tied to pride. And pride remembers. When you humiliate someone publicly, you force them into one of two positions. They either retaliate immediately, escalating conflict, or they retreat quietly, waiting for opportunity. The second is far more dangerous, because revenge that waits is revenge that calculates. Understand this clearly. Every person you embarrass becomes motivated. And a motivated adversary is far more persistent than a casual competitor. The powerful do not need to degrade others to elevate themselves. In fact, visible cruelty lowers your own status. Observers begin to question your security. They wonder why you felt the need to strike downward. True dominance is controlled. If correction is necessary, deliver it with restraint. If humor is used, ensure it does not strip dignity. Strength that preserves another's pride creates loyalty, or at least neutrality, but humiliation guarantees resistance. In public arenas, workplaces, social circles, leadership spaces, your reputation is not built on how sharply you cut others down. It is built on how effortlessly you could and chose not to. because the most feared individual is not the one who wounds publicly. It is the one who never needed to, never appear desperate for approval. Desperation is visible, even when unspoken. It leaks through tone, posture, and timing. The need for approval reveals itself in nervous laughter, constant agreement, and the subtle habit of adjusting opinions to match the room. And the room notices, in the cold realism of Niccolò Machiavelli, those who seek validation surrender leverage. When you signal that acceptance is your priority, others instinctively understand that your behavior can be shaped by reward or withdrawal. Approval becomes your chain. The powerful, however, operate differently. They do not oppose simply to appear strong, but neither do they bend to avoid discomfort. Their worth is internally anchored. They speak because they believe, not because they wish to be liked. This creates gravity. People are drawn to those who are not chasing them. If you constantly seek reassurance, applause, or consensus, you reduce your presence to dependency. But when you remain calm, whether praised or ignored, you demonstrate stability, and stability commands respect. Let approval be a byproduct, not a pursuit, because the one who does not need acceptance often receives it. Never expose private conflicts. Conflict is inevitable, but public conflict is optional. When you display personal disputes before an audience, whether with a partner, a colleague, or an ally, you do more than express frustration. You reveal instability in your inner circle, and instability weakens perception. In the disciplined world of Niccolò Machiavelli, unity, real or perceived, is essential to maintaining authority. When outsiders witness division within your camp, they sense opportunity. They begin calculating where cracks can be widened. Private disagreements, when aired publicly, also strip you of mystery. The crowd gains insight into your emotional patterns, your triggers, your loyalties. Information that should remain guarded becomes entertainment. This is costly. The wise handle disputes behind closed doors. They maintain composure in public and negotiate intensity in private. Even when tension exists, they present alignment. Because perception often matters more than reality, a fractured image invites interference. A controlled image discourages intrusion. Resolve your battles quietly. Let the world see discipline, not discord. Power is preserved when your internal matters remain internal. And the strongest alliances are those whose conflicts are never witnessed. Romans 7. Never speak ill of absent powerful people. There is a dangerous temptation in public spaces to criticize those who are not present, especially those with influence. It feels safe, it feels bold, it even earns approval from those listening, but it is a strategic error. In the calculated realism of Niccolò Machiavelli, reputation is a currency more fragile than gold. The moment you speak negatively about someone powerful who is absent, you communicate two things. First, that you lack the courage to address them directly. Second, that you cannot be trusted with discretion. And trust, once questioned, rarely returns intact. Words travel, especially about powerful individuals. The very people nodding in agreement may later repeat your statements, sometimes distorted, sometimes exaggerated. When that happens, you stand exposed. Moreover, public criticism of the absent rarely elevates you. It reduces you to gossip, and gossip is not a trait associated with strength. The disciplined strategist understands this. If confrontation is necessary, make it direct and measured. If it is not necessary, remain silent. Silence preserves flexibility. Speech creates alliances. or enemies you may not yet be prepared to face. Guard your words. They shape your future more than you realize. Romans 8. Never display excessive emotion. Even in victory, victory reveals character more clearly than defeat. Many can endure loss with dignity. Few can handle success with restraint. When you celebrate excessively in public boasting, exaggerating, humiliating rivals, you expose something subtle, surprise. You communicate that winning was not expected, that this triumph feels extraordinary to you, and in doing so, you reduce its weight. In the measured philosophy of Niccolò Machiavelli, power treats success as natural. The composed leader does not erupt in arrogance. He nods, adjusts his garments, and moves to the next objective. Why? Because excessive celebration breeds resentment. Those who lost will remember your display more than the result itself. Neutral observers may begin to see you as unstable or inflated. Quiet victory, however, creates mystery. When you win calmly, others are unsettled. They sense confidence that does not depend on applause. They wonder how far your capability truly extends. Celebrate privately if you must. Reflect, recharge, reward yourself. But in public, remain controlled. Let your achievements speak. Let your demeanor suggest that this outcome was inevitable. Because the one who treats victory as normal appears destined for more. Romans 9. Never reveal how much something hurt you. Pain is inevitable. Exposure is optional. There will be insults, betrayals, public dismissals, quiet exclusions, moments designed intentionally or not to wound your pride. What you must understand is this: the injury itself is rarely the true danger. It is your visible reaction to it. In the unsentimental realism of Niccolò Machiavelli, human beings are observers of weakness, not always cruel, but always attentive. When you publicly display how deeply something affected you, you mark the exact location of your vulnerability, and once marked, it can be targeted again. If criticism makes you visibly defensive, it will be repeated. If rejection makes you visibly shaken, it will be exploited. If mockery makes you visibly angry, it will become strategy. The crowd studies reactions more than events. When you reveal emotional injury in public, you surrender two powerful advantages: unpredictability and emotional distance. You allow others to feel that they can move you at will, and control over your emotional state is control over you. This does not mean you must become inhuman. You are not stone. You feel, you process, you reflect, but you do so in private. The disciplined individual absorbs the strike without immediate display. They do not rush to defend their pride. They do not argue to restore image. They do not attempt to prove resilience through dramatic counterattack. They observe, they take note of who delivered the blow, they measure the intention behind it, they decide later if response is required. There is immense power in delayed reaction. Silence after insult creates discomfort. It forces the aggressor to question whether they miscalculated. It denies them the satisfaction of visible impact, and often the absence of reaction diminishes the attack entirely. Remember this: people test boundaries unconsciously. When they discover a boundary that produces visible pain, they become curious. When they discover a boundary that produces nothing, no crack, no tremor, they retreat. Your composure is armor. Let the world see steadiness, even when storms move within you, because the one who cannot be visibly shaken cannot be easily controlled. Conclusion: public behavior is far more than etiquette. It is power manifested. Every glance, every word, every gesture in the presence of others carries weight. In the eyes of Niccolò Machiavelli, life itself is a stage of observation and calculation. Weakness revealed in public is never forgotten. It is measured, remembered, and often exploited. By avoiding uncontrolled anger, over-explanation, and premature revelation of ambition, you protect the most valuable asset you possess, perception. By preserving dignity, silence, and composure, you create mystery, authority, and influence. By refusing to display desperation, emotional pain, or impulsive reactions, you take control of the narrative that others would otherwise shape for you. Every one of the 9 principles is a tool to transform public spaces from arenas of vulnerability into stages of strategic dominance. Mastery of these behaviors does not make you immune to attack. It makes you untouchable in ways the impulsive and the reactive cannot understand. Remember, the world is always watching. It does not judge intentions, it judges control. Those who can command their presence in public, who act deliberately, who guard their weaknesses, and who remain inscrutable, inherit respect, authority, and opportunity. In the end, the lesson is timeless. True power is not in action alone, but in the disciplined management of perception. The one who controls how the world sees them, never revealing too much, never yielding to provocation, rules not by fear nor by force, but by the quiet, unshakable weight of presence.